Hi y'all, good morning. If you want to come along for the most frustrating fishing trip of your life, join me today because we got busting fish all around us and can't hardly catch a nary one. But I did just catch this white bass here, and I've got one skipjack in the cooler already, so I thought I'd take the camera here and get it turned on and you all can join in on the festivities here. I'm on some skipjack though. They're mostly smaller, and they're busting kind of out here in front of these docks around this area, and I'm throwing a tiny bait that's still too big for what they're eating. This is a 1-inch gulp minnow, and these fish are actually right now feeding on a bait that is smaller than what we're throwing. We've had a shad spawn, and they are eating tiny shad fry. There's some busting right there. But when we catch one here, assuming we get, oh, there's one. Hopefully they're going to spit up what they're eating, and I'm going to show you just how small these are. They're like almost see-through. They're just tiny little things. But they are keyed in on that size, and if you're throwing a larger bait right now, I come out here initially throwing some, or trolling some spoons, they won't touch them. I mean, you can troll right through busting fish. They're not going to touch them because they're too big. So I have my ultralight rod because I was going to do some ultralight fishing today as well. That's actually what I was going to film. It's a largemouth here. Now I've got skipjack, white bass, and now largemouth. They're all feeding on these. Well, he just flopped out, didn't he? Come here, you old fish. Come here. I can't even keep you. You're too small. We need some catfish bait today. I wish he had spit something up there, but I mean, they're just like little tiny see-through. I mean, you can literally see through them. They're like 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch at most, but these fish, they're keyed in on that size, and if you're throwing something bigger, it's real hard to get their attention. So it can be incredibly frustrating when you've got busting fish all around you and yet you can't get a daggone bite. But got that white bass there when I clicked on the video. I got one skipjack in the cooler. We just got to largemouth, so I'm gonna just sit here and we're gonna throw with these schools that come up busting and try to tempt them. And then what I'm gonna do when we're right here just after sunrise, when the surface activity dies down, we're going to take and work a little deeper. I got some worms with me. We'll take and work those along the shoreline around these docks here. Like I said, I was going to do some ultralight fishing today. That's kind of what I planned on, but I need to get some bait, some catfish bait. And so I brought my skipjack rods with me to troll, because I'd put in at this creek way back up in here and was going to troll my way out here to the channel and then do some ultralight fishing. Well, I get out here. There wasn't nothing going on in the creek. I mean, it was dead sea back there. But I get out here in the channel, and along the shoreline, you've got all this activity going on. And you'll see these, and if I see one, I'll point it out on camera. But you'll see these little schools of shad fry that are just minuscule, and this happens every summer, and it's just every year it's like trying to find something small enough to tempt these fish that you can still cast with. You can use one thing that's helpful that I don't have with me today is popping corks. And popping corks are real popular in the saltwater, especially the inshore areas where people are fishing for redfish and trout and things like that. But it's basically a big bobber with like a cupped end, so it'll float your bait and you sit there and work it like a topwater popper, and the fish are drawn to the popping sound like a larger fish feeding, and then when they come up to that, there's your smaller bait there behind it. So that can be real helpful in these situations like we have going on out here this morning, but your boy here isn't prepared for that. So we're not going to have popping corks today. But we're just going to look around here. The activity's certainly dying down from what I've been on the water here for. I've been out here in this area for probably 15-20 minutes here before I turned on the camera. So the activity from when I got out here to now is already subsiding. This usually lasts until the sun kind of gets up, and then it'll taper off here in the summer months. It's oftentimes a topwater bite right at dawn. But as these fish kind of taper off, like I said, we're gonna kind of work around these docks and along the shoreline here, because I got a feeling all these fish that are kind of out in front of these docks and the shoreline right now are going to move back as the morning goes on. So y'all come along with me here. We'll leave this camera rolling for 30 minutes to an hour while I piddle around with this and see what all we can get. If anything, y'all are going to be incredibly frustrated with my lack of catches, most likely. Normally I do these ultralight videos. I catch a bunch of fish because I'm throwing the gulp, or I'm throwing worms, or something that's going to get the attention of a lot of fish. But when it's like this, man, and they're just feeding on them tiny baits, it's tough to... There's one. There were several right here in front of us. Let's see what this is. It don't matter to me if it's a white bass or skipjack, but I'd prefer it be one of those, because if it's a largemouth, they got to be 15 inches for us to keep them. And this one here, I don't believe is going to be 15 inches, even if it is a largemouth. You know what else y'all forgot to bring today? It is a largemouth. Doggone it. Danged old ditch pickles here. Come on up here, buddy. You ain't what we need now. Where's the skipjack and white bass? I know for sure there's some skipjack. I think they're more kind of out over here, out away from the bank. You can see the skipjack when they come up, they'll oftentimes breach the surface, like come completely out of the water. And so you can get a better look at them. Those largemouth are certainly fun to catch on the ultralight. I enjoy it, but when we've got an opportunity to catch some catfish bait right here, which I desperately need if I'm going to go catfishing tomorrow, it's a little discouraging to catch a large jaw. If he was 15 inches, I wouldn't mind, because we'd take him with us. I got my measuring board. We'll definitely throw them on there if they're close. That one there I didn't measure because he wasn't going to get it done for us. Yeah, I'm going to leave this camera going. Y'all just going to see it all uncut here for 30 minutes to an hour. We'll try to bust some of these fish out here, and we'll take a tub of worms here and throw as well. I've had daggone skipjack on some recent ultralight trips. I've caught some skipjack on worms and had them chase worms, so we may end up throwing one of them on here in a minute as well and just try it out and see. Just a different look, you know, a different profile. It's just, skipjack are peculiar like that, man. When they're locked into something, when they're feeding, and they eat mostly threadfin shad. That makes up their diet, probably 90+% of their diet. Every time I cut open skipjack to use as catfish bait, I obviously see what's in their stomach, and it's almost always threadfin shad. But however big the shad are at that particular time of year that you're catching them, that's what they're eating. And you need to match that size. Size to me is more important than color. Now, I typically try to match my color to bait, like this gulp minnow here. It's a smelt color, which is like a gray and white. It looks like a shad. When I'm throwing crappie magnets, which is a jig and plastic combo that I like to troll for skipjack, I use white and chartreuse, because oftentimes the shad will have a little yellow on their tail. Some people around here, the locals, call them yellowtails. So I try to match that. But to me, I think the size of bait is more important than the color. Because if you got the color right and the size wrong, it's like me trolling spoons up through here on my way out here this morning. Them spoons are like, I think they're 1 3/4 inches, maybe 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches, but they're taller. You can forget about it, man. You can go right through the fish and they're not going to even look at it. So it's dying down fast though, man. When I first got out here, I should have turned the camera on then. I was trying to work quickly, but there was activity going on. There was a bunch of different, like, small clusters of schools of fish going on. Now it's kind of petering out as the sun gets higher. We'll make a few more random casts here, and then I'm just gonna work this bank over here by these docks, and I just have a feeling these fish are gonna kind of move back to this area. And who knows, we'll probably catch some, I'm sure we'll catch some bass over here. It does seem like the bass have stayed closer to the docks and the shoreline, whereas the skipjack and the white bass were moving out a little bit away from it. But we'll probably catch some bass over here. We'll probably catch some bluegill. We'll catch a bunch of stuff going down this shoreline. At least I would expect us to, anyway. Time of year certainly right. With the, I don't have my graph on. I don't really need it today, but I'm sure water temps here are probably in the mid to high 80s. So there's a lot of fish out here on these main channel shorelines, just up in the shallows, just because it's water temp's high and metabolism's high, and there's a lot of bait up here. All right, well, you can look around here, folks. The surface activity, I don't see anything right now. I literally see nothing. Good while it lasted. I told you, one of the most incredibly frustrating things you can experience as a fisherman is when you've got fish busting all around you and you can't catch a daggone one. But it's not a total loss, because we did get, I got the skipjack before the camera turned on and that white bass there. So I got a little something to take with us. Let's I see something else right over here along the shoreline here has come up. Let's cast this gulp 1 or 2 more times right over here, and then let's switch over and put us on a worm. I don't know what them are right there. They're not breaching the surface completely, so it's probably bass. Oh, lost him. He nipped it. Oh wait, no, he didn't just nip it. He took the whole kit and caboodle right here, folks. He took the whole everything. Well, let me bust out another jig. I'll show you here. I keep my jig heads in this little box. I've got a couple different sizes, but right here is what I mostly use when I've got the ultralight. This is a 1/64 ounce size with a number 8 hook. And this right here is, if I can see to put this thing on, man, my eyes. I need to put my reading glasses in here. This size right here, especially the hook, number 8 hook, very important if you're throwing a 1-inch gulp minnow. it's an appropriate size hook for it. If you try using a bigger hook with those 1-inch gulp, you're going to tear the baits super easy. They just, it's a soft plastic anyway. I mean, of course it's a soft plastic, but it's a softer plastic than most plastic baits. And so if the hook is too big for it, you'll tear it. But if you use the smaller hook, you're going to be way better off. Let's, since we got to retie anyway, let's go ahead and put on a worm. What do you say? This is just some little red worms here. And I'm going to take a whole worm and put on, and hopefully we'll give these fish a live bait, something that's actively moving, and be able to tempt them, even though they ain't necessarily feeding on worms right now. They're chasing them small shad fry. Let's throw right over there where them other fish were at. They're probably gone now. Something else might be there. Let that thing sink down. We see some come up busting, we'll throw the worm to the surface activity and reel it in like just like a lure. And if this don't pan out, well, we'll put a gulp back on. What we need, though, is we need y'all to remember to bring a net. Because we catch something that's a little too big for our 2-pound line. I guess I should tell you, normally I start off these ultralight videos, I go over my gear and then start fishing, but today we're doing everything bass backwards. So my gear today, I've got St. Croix Panfish Series rod, 6 foot long, ultralight action, 1,000 size Daiwa reel, got 2-pound test line, and of course I just showed you the jig head there. I see some. Let me just back up right here a second. There's a couple fish that come up right here. Be curious to see if them skipjack will chase that worm at all, since it's alive and it's moving, and it's hopefully putting off some scent as well. Now I don't know with skipjack, I don't know about their sense of taste or smell. I don't know. It's amazing how little I know about skipjack for how many thousands of them I've caught through the years to use as catfish bait. But you know, I know their diet obviously from cutting into so many, and I've kind of learned their habits and their patterns just from time on the water and experience, and having to chase them down so much. But as far as the actual fish itself, you know, I really don't know a great deal about the species. It's just, people ask me sometimes too about skipjack. I'll get random questions if I meet somebody out there maybe new to catfishing, whatever, and they'll say they've looked them up and they find skipjack tuna online, which is apparently a saltwater species. I don't know anything about those, but these are skipjack herring, and they're native to my area here in East Tennessee. They're native Tennessee River, Clinch River. Right there was something right in front of us. Let's throw right there. Come up splashing right in front of us. No. Let's look right down here at this dock. There's something going on right there in front of it. I'm telling you, it's you can just see these fish. Can't catch a dang one of them right there. Yeah, these busting fish like this, I think we're going to have to use probably a gulp to, I just hope the worm might give them a different look, a different smell or taste. Maybe we trigger something. Don't look like it's going to work out though, does it? Gave it a college try. I would love to have me some skipjack. They have remained tough. I mean, I'm seeing some activity out here this morning, but it's, you know, it's the ones I've seen, and of course that one there that we actually caught is very, very small. The better quality skipjack this year have just been incredibly tough to find. So, man, it's been a tough year for skipjack. A lot of excuses, a lot of rumors as to why that is. Nobody really knows why they've been so difficult this year, other than the fact that they have been. And nobody's doing particularly well targeting them, at least not in my area. Hopefully they bounce back. We've obviously got some smaller ones, so I guess last year's hatch, or maybe the year before, they done well. So when they grow up and get big, and I don't know, again, that's another one of the things about skipjack that I just don't know how quickly they grow. I don't think they're a very long-lived fish. Like, I think their lifespan's fairly short, so they got to grow pretty quickly. I do want to kind of throw this worm around over here, because we're going to get us some bluegill. And if we lucked into some shellcracker, that would be dandy too. But whatever we get that's legal to keep, we are going to keep. Because I am planning on going catfishing tomorrow, and so I'd like to throw this worm a little bit down the shoreline. And if we had a bunch of busting fish still going on around, I'd gladly put back on the gulp. We may end up putting on the gulp again anyway, but that surface activity is just dying off. We'll work this down through here. There's 2 more docks right down from us. We'll work the worm down to just past those, and then make a decision and see, do we want to keep throwing the worm? Do we want to switch back to the gulp? I mean, the fish are eating them tiny shad, so a minnow-like presentation today may be better than the worm, even for things like bluegill and the shellcracker. I mean, if we can find some shellcracker, that would be awesome. When I've lucked into shellcracker, and I say lucked into because I'm terrible at targeting them, but when I have, oh, something's swimming with our bait right here. He's swimming with it. I never felt him eat it. I never felt him pick it up. I just saw my line swimming. I was going to say, normally, if I luck into shellcracker, it's along rocky shorelines. There's bluegill. Speak of the devil. I got good news, bad news, bluegill. Good news is I'm going to unhook you. Bad news is you're coming with me. Oh, let's see what our worm's looking like here. Let's go ahead and just switch him out there. He's kind of all tore up, and we got plenty. put a fresh, lively one on there. Old red worm. But yeah, you know, if the bluegill over here, if they're eating them shad fry too, and they probably are, they may be more interested in a gulp today than the worm. But usually, if you throw a worm, you're gonna catch something. It's hard to go wrong throwing a worm anytime. It's just one of those bottom of the food chain type foods. Something tapped us. He's swimming. Here we go again. I think this is oh, it is. This is a red-breasted sunfish right here. This thing is beautiful. If I catch any catfish tomorrow, this will be the thumbnail right here, folks. Look at this thing. Look at this, man. You talk about a beautiful fish. Oh, he ain't gonna be my thumbnail tomorrow because I lost him. I can't believe y'all dropped that fish. I handed him to you there just to show him to you. I wanted you to see how pretty he was, and y'all done lost the damn thing. You let him fly overboard. What the hell's wrong with you? We needed that. That would have made a great thumbnail for the catfish video. I can't believe y'all done that. I'm beginning to wonder why I even bring y'all fishing with me if you do me like that. Dadgummit. I can tell you why I bring y'all fishing with me, because when that kind of thing happens, I need somebody to blame it on. I can't take responsibility for myself. I mean, being a human being in 2025, come on, nobody takes responsibility for their actions anymore. Not this day and time. Dadgummit, I hate I lost him overboard. Well, I just threw the worm off because I felt it hit my leg. Oh, did you see that? He ate that fish right there come up after the bear jighead. You know what? That might be interesting. That's an interesting concept. Very interesting concept, folks. The bear jighead. What does that look like? It looks like them tiny shad fry, doesn't it? And that fish just come after it. My worm, he's sitting right there. I felt him hit my leg when I cast. That's interesting right there, folks. The bear jighead had a fish come after it. Boy, that's something to test, because it has been so difficult when fish are on the shad fry. It's difficult to find anything because there's even a small jig head with a plastic is just too big. But the jig head itself, very interesting. All right, folks. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a worm back on for now. But if you see any more activity around here, casting range for us, we'll jerk that worm off. God almighty, the pervert. As soon as I said it, I realized what I'd done. Perverts are going to have a field day with that one. We will take the worm off and throw just the jig head. Can't believe I said it. As soon as it come out of my mouth, I knew y'all perverts out there was going to be your mind in the gutter when I said that. It's still early, folks. I ain't fully awake yet. Yeah, let's just keep working down this shoreline though. If we got some more of them red-breasted sunfish, that wouldn't hurt my feelings either, especially better quality ones like that one that y'all lost. I was going to throw him on board. He had to be at least 7 inches. He'd have made a good catfish bait, whether using him whole or cut. Didn't bring a bucket today to keep anything alive. I gotta order me a new bait pump. I don't know what's happened to my other one. It just don't function. So I gotta get a new bait pump before we can use live bait again. Especially in this heat, with the water temps like they are, you're gonna have a hard time keeping anything alive in a small container without aeration. Like you gotta get the aerator on them pretty quick. And then when you get home, I keep bottles of water in my freezer frozen, and I'll throw them in the bait bucket there and just cool the water down. That helps a lot. But you gotta take extra precautions with your live baits this time of year in this heat. And without a working aerator, I've got a aquarium type pump, type aerator, I guess you'd call it, that you plug in the wall. I got it at home because what I do is I take my portable one here when I'm on the water, and then when I get home, I put the wall plug-in one, the big one, I put it on them. But with the water temps as hot as they are, the fact I don't have any portable pump right now, portable aerator, I don't think we would keep the fish alive until I got home to get them on the other one. And then of course, once I leave the house tomorrow to go to the water, if they were still alive, they'd probably die before I got set up to go fishing. So won't be, bottom line is we ain't keeping no live baits today. We got something right here though that we will keep if we can get him in, if y'all don't botch this one. It's okay, it's another one of those, and it's comparable size too, them red-breasted sunfish right here. I want y'all to keep hold of this one now. Don't let him get out. Don't let this one get free. These are just, I mean, they are beautiful fish. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, you've done it again. You've dropped him again. Let me get hold of him here. Y'all gonna, we're not putting him on the board either. He ain't big enough to measure, no way. Get him back there in that cooler. Y'all trying to sabotage me with your every move out here. Why y'all do this to me? You know I'm needing some bait. Are you not wanting to go catfishing tomorrow? Because if you want to go, we need to get some real bait. Don't make me use chicken again. Oh, we had one right there too. I lost him. He got a worm. All right, well, we know over here on the corner of this dock, there's some fish. So let's just get us another worm and throw over there. You better believe though, folks, I will test the bare jig head theory. I will work that and see if that will. It may have just been a fluke, you know, just one of them random things. But boy, that sure would solve a problem of finding something small enough to mimic those shad fry. Oh, something hit us in. Did you see my line jump? Right there in the corner of that dock. I hope it's another one of them sunfish. They're all bluegill to me, but the red-breasted sunfish are easier to identify because of their neon colors. This is a bluegill here. All right. Well, bluegill, he's probably 7 inches or so. My measuring board, the numbers on the measuring board start at 8 inches, so unless we get one that's looking like it's going to go 8, I'm not going to waste time right now putting them on the board. I want to try to get these fish here early. Well, once that sun gets over them trees, it is going to be miserable out here. This time of year, man, it's July and it's hot, it's high humidity. And I like to get my fishing done early and then go to the house. I don't play around past about 10 o'clock this time of year. I like getting up early, get on the water, especially weekday mornings when nobody's out here. Oh, fish. Oh, this one's gonna pull a little bit. Oh, it's a bluegill though. Okay. Oh, no, y'all. I think that's a red breast. I mean, I can't get my words. That's a shell cracker. Nice. I told you, man. I just felt like we might get lucky along this rocky shoreline right here. Rocky shorelines, when I do lucky into red breast, God dang it, I mean, shell cracker, red ear sunfish, I can't get my words out. But when I do luck into them, it's usually rocky shorelines. Yeah, he's 8.5, a smaller one. These shell cracker get a little bigger. They're thicker. They're like a bluegill, but they're thicker. And you can identify them easily because of that red flap on their ear right there. He's coming with us. For sure. Or, as the kids say, faux show. Right there on the corner of that dock. But yeah, it's a rocky bank. You know, you've got all that riprap over there along the shoreline, and for some reason them shell cracker just like they seem to like anyway, the rocky banks. I don't get them often, but boy, when I do, I like them, especially as live baits, because they make basically a thicker bluegill, and oftentimes they're in that 10-inch range, 10, 11 inches. So they're a good size for a trophy size cat. But yeah, I like to, this time of year, I like to get up early, get on the water about sunrise, especially on the weekdays when most of the bass fishermen, pleasure boaters, wakeboarders and all that, they're at work. And you just come out at dawn and have the place to yourself, and temperatures are reasonable. Get out and fish and have a good time till 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Pick up some breakfast on the way home and just enjoy the day. Got the whole rest of your day to binge watch TV shows, hang out in the air conditioning, do projects inside the house, you know, whatever you got to do. It's so nasty and miserable hot by 10 o'clock, it just ain't much you want to do outside. Well, we ain't got much more activity going on over there now. Tell you what I want to do before we move on from that corner of the dock there. Let me just try a worm that's fresh and lively and still alive. That and there's about had it, so let's put on a different worm before we move on. I ain't doing nothing fancy with how I'm hooking these worms. I'm just running that hook through a couple times on it there. Back us up a little bit. I'm in my Hobie Lynx kayak today. This is has become my favorite kayak. I love it. It's lightweight. It's a paddleboard style hull, which makes it very fast. It kind of glides across the water. There's not a lot of resistance with the hull design, so it's a really fast platform. And days like today where there's no wind out here today, the wind's not blowing at all, it's perfect. Now if the wind was up, The advantage of this style hull is it glides because of the lack of resistance. The disadvantage of this kayak or this platform is that it glides. So if the wind's blowing, and it don't take a very strong wind, but if it is, you get pushed around all over the place. But when it's flat calm, like right now, man, this is perfect for this. It's a fun platform to fish off of, and very easy on the back because it's so lightweight. Loading and unloading's a breeze. I'd like to catch a fish so big that one of y'all have to risk hurting your back to lift it in. That's what I'd like to do. It'd probably take us an hour to get it in on the ultralight, but I'd be okay with that. All right, well, let's move along here. We'll make our way down this dock, and on the other side here, there's a couple more docks down through here. We'll work our way down the shoreline in between them, and then kind of work around the docks themselves. Where we at on time? I'm gonna run this camera probably 20 more minutes or so. I was just gonna bring y'all along for about an hour or so today. It's not gonna be a long trip for me anyway. Mostly just a bait run this morning, but I did want to do an ultralight video because I wanted to do some ultralight fishing. This is one of my favorite things to do. I love it. Every time I do an ultralight trip, I always sing the praises of ultralight fishing because it's very productive and fun, and it don't take big fish to have a good time. You catch a variety of fish, a variety of species. So I always sing the praises of it, but I genuinely enjoy it. I love it. I love catching big catfish, but ultralight fishing's it's one of those guilty pleasures. Oh, we got a tap. He's got it. We're gonna be eavesdropping on the conversation too. I hear somebody up there at that house talking. I think this might be another one of those red-breasted sunfish if I can get the right fish species out of my mouth. No, it's actually a bluegill. When I first saw him, I saw, I guess, the flash of his mouth there and misspoke. Let me get my forceps. One of my channel members, DT Knox, sent me these a while back, and I've been putting them to use with these bluegill, who is also coming with us. All right, let's throw. We're right here beside this dock. Let's just throw up under that mimosa tree there. They've about lost all their blooms. They are a pretty tree when they're blooming. They got them pink, oh, this one. They got them pink blossoms all over them. Okay, now right here, y'all, this is one of those red-breasted sunfish. I'm hesitant. I'm having to talk slow because I know I'll misspeak if I don't. I tore the worm just then. Look at that though, man. The neon blue, the orange. I don't have an aquarium, but if I did, I wouldn't mind having me one of them sunfish right there. Let's just throw up over here. It just looks like fishy right there, don't it? Overhanging tree right beside a dock. It just looks like we ought to catch a fish. Technically we did with that other one, but it looks like we ought to catch several fish here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna y'all don't give a damn about this, but I'm gonna dig me up a small mimosa tree and plant in my yard, because them things are pretty prolific, and on their blooms right there, them things fall off, and everywhere they fall you'll see little baby mimosa trees popping up. Like they propagate very well. But I think I'm gonna put one in my yard. I don't know how long it takes to get one that size. Fish. There's another one. I didn't really feel him hit it, I just felt weight. This is a good one right here, man. This is a good one. This might be one we want to throw on the measuring board right here, folks. Goodness gracious. Calm it down there, sir. Please and thank you. He's left our worm on, but it's looking kind of rough. Let me just put him on the board and see if he will go 8 inches or not. No, he ain't. He's close. He's a hair short. He's going in the coolers, what he's doing. Let's take a look at our worm here. You want to switch it out? Yeah, it's looking rough. Let's switch it. Whoever's talking up there at that house, we can hear the whole conversation. It don't sound like a very interesting conversation, but it's a good thing that they ain't talking about anything important. I heard a pretty good argument the other day. My neighbors were having a little lover's quarrel, I guess. And they were in their yard, which is, I mean, it's a few hundred yards away, but they were yelling at each other so loudly. I just got to sit there and watch the episode of Jerry Springer live in my backyard. Oh, had one on. I went to pick up on it and he's there. They're light biting today. Very light biting. Bluegill are anyway. Them other skipjack and largemouth busting the surface, they were very aggressive, but the bluegill have been some very light taps. That's another one right here that's kind of short, but look how thick he is. I say he's kind of short. Hell, he's 7+ inches, but still very thick fish. He'll make a good bait for us. Y'all know, regular viewers, you know I'm not a big fan of bluegill for catfish bait, but man, when you can't get skipjack, you just use whatever you can catch. If it's legal, it's going on a hook. So we're definitely going to need some bluegill today. And what I'll do before I leave here today, I'm going to troll up and down this area with the bare jig head and just see. It may be the dumbest thing I've ever done, but if it'll help me catch an extra skipjack or white bass before I leave here today, it'll be worthwhile. Another nice bluegill. I thought these fish might move back over here with it being getting a little later in the morning. That's another thick one right there, man. Look at that. Nice. But so far, what we're catching over here seems to be all bluegill. When you're catching them that size right there, I don't mind one bit. I'll sit here and catch them things all day. And right here on the edge of this dock, you've got, I'll show you here in just a second. You got a lot going on this spot that'll help it hold some fish. First off, you got the cover of this dock extending out a little ways. You've got the mimosa tree, the branches hanging over, and then look back there at the back. You see them concrete steps? It looks like up under there it might be some more that have broken off, possibly. Did I just throw that worm? I just did. I threw the damn worm off. Y'all, you better get it together here. Well, we threw part of him off, apparently. I don't know how y'all do this. I think you sabotaged that worm so I'd embarrass myself casting him out like that. Y'all set me up all the time just to make a fool of me. Why are them people up there at the house yelling? Like they're not in an argument, they're just yelling in normal conversation for some reason. I think they're getting an estimate on something. Oh, I had one tap me. Man, that bluegill are stacked right there, folks. They are absolutely stacked. Actually, I think this is another one of those sunfish. It is. Oh, buddy. Nice. Nice right here. I love these things, man, especially when they're this size. I wish we had our bait bucket, man. We'd keep these things alive. He wasn't coming free, was he? Good golly. Let me just quickly put him on the board here if we can. Don't you lose him. Don't you lose him. You done lost enough fish today. Hey, calm down there, kid. Calm down. Nice. Don't you do it. You sit there and act like somebody, man. Well, he's acting like we're going to keep him for catfish bait or something. Look at this. Nice. He'll go 8 inches. Okay, let's get him in the cooler before y'all lose him. Well, we're at a good angle right here too, ain't we? Let's throw right back up under there. Well, this has worked out, man. Myself in reverse here so we don't blow up on this if we pull into one. Well, I felt like we was in a good position to make a cast right there, but I didn't get anything. Let me throw over there. Did y'all catch them all over there or something? Well, maybe we caught them all right there. Or maybe a larger predator fish moved in and has got them spooked. A little to the right over there, maybe. How long have we been at this now? Lord, we've already been doing this almost an hour, folks. Well, we'll wrap it up here in a minute, at least for the video portion anyway. I'm gonna fish a little longer. There was a skipjack jumping right out there. I'm gonna try trolling a bear jig head. Y'all gonna make fun of me for it, but my gosh, if it works, everybody will be doing it. I just can't believe there ain't nothing more under this tree. We apparently ain't gonna get bit no more right there though, are we? Just over here, work our way around this dock. There's another one right here behind us. I can't hardly turn around to show you all. Oh, got him. That's another one right here. Feels pretty good too. Another big one, man. These things, boy, I tell you, every one of these bluegill we're getting, even ones like this that don't have the length. Look at the look at the width on him, man. I mean, the meat that is a fat bluegill, buddy. They're fed up. We've probably got enough in there, truth be told. I've probably got enough for catfishing tomorrow. I'll go through, after I turn the video off here, I'll go through and count, but I'll show you here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus our white bass and skipjack in there as well. And yeah, I know I need more ice. I got some of these little frozen cold packs in that bag there, but this is going to be a short trip. I'll ice them down real good when I get out of here. So that's probably enough for me to catfish tomorrow, because tomorrow it'll be like today, where I'm just going out for 2 or 3 hours. There's something else splashed over there. But yeah, y'all, anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the video portion here. I'm gonna just do some fun fishing here for a little while, and see if I can get me some more on the ultralight. Then before I leave, I'm gonna troll this area here real good where the surface activity is going on with I'll troll one of my spoon rods, which ain't gonna catch nothing, and I'll throw the bare jig head and troll it through here and just see what happens, just test it out. We'll do a follow-up on that in the future if it pans out. But yeah, do that, have some fun out here till it gets just miserable, and then go home to the AC. So anyway, y'all, thanks for coming with me for the bait run here. I'll see you next time.